It's another Thursday and another half hour when we highlight government's policies, programs and partnerships. Today we're looking at the restructuring of PATH, support to agriculture-based businesses, and your rights as a motorist. There's so much more, so stay with us.
The Joint Select Committee of Parliament reviewing the Domestic Violence Act wants to hear from you. Review the Act and share your opinions with the committee. You can find a copy of the Act on the Parliament's website at www.japarliament.gov.jm under the heading Publications. Once you have reviewed the Act, submit your written opinions by Tuesday, April 30, 2024 to Clerk to the Houses, Gordon House, 81 Duke Street, Kingston, or clerk@japarliament.gov.jm. Let your voice be heard.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, April 25, 2024. Government's crime-fighting efforts are to benefit from grant funding of approximately £15 million, or 2.9 billion Jamaican dollars, from the Government of the United Kingdom. A memorandum of understanding was signed yesterday for the undertaking of the UK-Jamaica Violence Prevention Partnership that will run for a 6-year period. Among the partners are the Ministries of National Security and Education, along with the Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, and the UK Department for International Development. Under the partnership, interventions will be carried out simultaneously in 7 volatile communities across the island using low-performing schools as entry points. This will focus on strengthening key systems of the government to deliver effective support to vulnerable groups and address the root causes of violence. The initiative should also strengthen the capacity for data collection, driving an evidence-based response to the issue. This will be led by the PIOJ. There's also a foundational learning component, assistance to the interministerial schools support strategy, and support to other projects within the framework of the Citizen Security Plan. Jamaica and its UK partner both agree that this coordinated, multi-sectoral approach is key to achieving the desired results.
Global evidence on effective violence prevention approaches recognises the importance of coordinated and multi-sectoral approaches to address these complex contributory factors. Enhanced cross-government leadership and engagement will be required.
This programme aims to enhance current governance arrangements such as a citizen security business group in violence prevention by enhancing our capacity to deliver a more evidence-based intervention, which is well needed.
This is to include psychosocial support through the Security Ministry's case managers, as well as literacy initiatives and parenting programs under the Ministry of Education. Jamaica is making important steps towards ensuring that more people and families are cushioned against the potentially harsh consequences of social and economic shocks. UNICEF representative in Jamaica, Olga Isaza, says the United Nations Children's Fund is pleased to be part of this significant effort.
The collaborative effort among the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, the Planning Institute of Jamaica, WFP, UN Women and UNICEF have allowed all of us to advance the mandate to leave no one behind.
Mrs. Saza was addressing the closing ceremony for the Joint Sustainable Development Goals SDG Fund program on modernizing the social protection system in Jamaica. She says UNICEF is particularly encouraged by the progress made by the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities.
The program has helped to improve the service quality for families with children and people with disabilities through an enhanced management information system that supports registration and certification.
The closing out ceremony was held on Wednesday, April 24 at the Courtyard by Marriott in Kingston. Minister with responsibility for the environment, Senator Matthew Samuda, is imploring all Jamaicans to play their part in protecting the environment by adopting responsible solid waste management and disposal practices. He argues that while significant investments have been made in strengthening the capacity of the National Solid Waste Management Authority to keep the country clean, waste management is a shared responsibility.
But we need the help, and that help will have to come from citizens. If we are to bring people along the journey to understand that their choice with how they discard their waste is indeed one that affects all of us, it will take a united, cohesive group right across society.
Minister Samuda was addressing Excelsior High School's World Earth Day observance at the institution's Mountain View location on Monday. He reiterated that this year would see the implementation of mandatory separation and recycling of waste by all ministries, departments and agencies, along with statutory bodies.
So the government itself will be pushing for greater inclusion and availability of recycling services, certainly within the government service. It'll move sometime after that into residential and other institutions, area by area, as you build the capacity to deal with it.
4,000 farmers in the St. Anne's Bay area are set to benefit from the provision of a 5,000-gallon water truck. This is to alleviate the impact of drought conditions on agriculture. The truck, worth over $15 million, was handed over by Jamaica Bauxite and Mining Limited at the Lidford Industrial Park in St. Anne recently. Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, Floyd Green, highlights this as part of the government's strategy to utilize mining resources to help address agricultural challenges.
The reality is that the acquisition of the truck could not have come at a better time. We know that we are already in the throes of a meteorological drought. Our farmers are facing drier conditions. And in fact, last year was our driest and hottest year ever on record. And we had hoped that we would have seen some break this year. And we did see a little improvement in terms of how we started. But the reality is that we have already gone into drought and we are still just in the month of April.
The truck will service farms in the St. Anne's Bay, Claremont and Monique Extension areas, as well as communities such as Irons Mountain, Orange Park, Golden Grove and Davidstown. Local farmer Dane Henry says the vehicle will be very beneficial.
We are thanking him for the truck. It's going to stop a gap.
And finally, the JUTC fleet assigned to the entity's depot serving Port Moore St. Catherine has been bolstered with the addition of 12 new buses. The compressed natural gas CNG units arrived on the island on April 10. The additional buses are expected to result in reduced wait time for commuters on routes serviced by the Portmore depot. They also have the added benefit of providing a safer travel as they reduce harmful vehicle exhaust gas emissions like carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and other suspended particles. Earlier this month, the Transport Minister Darrell Vaz affirmed that another 100 CNG buses were being procured to arrive in Jamaica by the end of June. The additional units are being bought as the government seeks to modernize the public transportation sector and alleviate some of the challenges experienced by commuters. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Once upon a time in a Caribbean island known for its rich culture, natural beauty, lived a group of people who were buried in piles and piles and more piles of paper. Papers spanning back to the start of time. Then came a bright idea, harnessing technology to work smarter and not harder. The government of Jamaica is improving its operations to serve citizens better. Many services are now available online, and there's more to come. The government of Jamaica, building a better public sector for all.
The Ministry of Labour and Social Security is streamlining the PATH program to create a more inclusive and efficient system. And as Portfolio Minister Pernell Charles Jr. will tell us, it is also to empower beneficiaries toward becoming less dependent on the support.
Welcome to Get the Facts, the program that provides you with information on government's policies and initiatives. I'm Theodore Henry. As of 2023, the Program of Advancement through Health and Education, PATH, has served over 285,000 people. 65% are children, 27% are the elderly, and the rest are comprised of persons with disabilities, pregnant and breastfeeding women, and vulnerable adults and families. Despite the hurdles confronting the 22-year-old program, the initiative has made commendable strides in reducing poverty rates and improving access to education and healthcare. But there are more improvements to be made. On that note, today we have with us Minister of Labour and Social Security, Pernell Charles Jr., who will give us details of the comprehensive overhaul of the program. Minister, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me to be here.
All right, let's jump right into getting the facts. Let's not take it for granted that everybody understands what PATH is meant to do. So tell us about PATH's mission, medium-term goals.
So PATH, as Jamaica knows it, is the flagship program for the government of Jamaica. It represents one significant element of the government's public welfare relief system. And it is the primary mechanism, primary way for us to provide support and relief to the most vulnerable families in our country. The goal for us with PATH is to improve access to healthcare, to education, to break the intergenerational cycle of poverty, to create a more equitable society. And so for more than 20 years, PATH has been providing support in terms of income benefits, in terms of tertiary grants, in terms of health clinic support, all of that with the goal of making sure that those who need the support the most, we are able to target them and provide them with that support along their chain towards independence.
If I can pick on one idea, you mentioned breaking the cycle of intergenerational poverty, and you just mentioned independence. Like, how are we looking in regards to that goal in particular?
You know, PATH has been successful, You know, there are many success stories in PATH, but I liked how you introduced this segment, because what you said is right. The fact that PATH has been successful doesn't mean we don't need to look on it, examine it, reassess, and improve it. And so, yes, we are achieving goals, but we've also received several, complaints, several criticisms, several commendations around PATH that have caused us to really establish the need to do this overhaul, to improve how we are selecting beneficiaries, to improve how we are providing and delivering this support, and generally to just improve the processes and procedures around this program.
Okay, so you started getting into some of the optimizations. What would you say are the top 2 optimizations that really have to happen?
You know, when you talk to Jamaicans, they'll tell you, or they'll ask you, why am I not on PATH? Why the person on this street right beside me is on PATH and I don't get on PATH? A lot of it goes down to the selection process. There is an assessment, an evaluation that all persons who apply for PATH have to go through to determine whether they are eligible. And that selection process has been criticized to see, is it fit 20 years later for this new Jamaica, for what we have evolved into. And, a big part of what we're doing is examining that process, is examining the technology that we use, examining the criteria that is utilized, and ensuring that the current needs of our applicants are met. Additionally, outside of the selection process, it's just the procedure now, the general operation and design of the program. How long it takes for verification, how do you, are you able to stay on PATH? When should you come off of PATH? All of these important questions in the procedures, which we are also examining in terms of the full comprehensive overhaul of the PATH program.
Am I detecting that there's also a consideration of expansion, being able to meet more needs?
I want to be cautious in how we utilize that word expansion.
Okay.
Because our goal is not to have more Jamaicans requiring this kind of support.
Right.
The goal must be to make sure that all Jamaicans who require the support are receiving effective delivery of this service. I would hope, Jamaica should hope, that over time, in the next 10 years, we shouldn't have 285,000 persons. We hope that that will be reduced, because if the program is effective, generation to generation, there should be less reliance or need for that kind of support. So the goal should be then to identify the right persons who require this support, to identify the persons who no longer should be on path, and to make sure that whatever service we are delivering is as effective as possible to put everybody on their two feet, so that we can start to evolve what the benefits of PATH are towards the new Jamaica.
Let's now hear from the Ministry of Finance about the support being offered through the Development Bank of Jamaica's Agribiz program.
A farmer in need of new equipment? Has your farm been severely affected by the effects of COVID-19? If yes, you might just qualify for a loan under the Development Bank of Jamaica's DBJ's $1 billion Agribiz program. So, if you're a struggling farmer who owns a micro, small or medium-sized enterprise, this episode is for you. But how can you apply? Hi, I'm Shaquille Rochester Shorter, and welcome to Finance Matters. Today, I will be speaking with Mr. Paul Chin, Manager of Investor Relationships at DBJ, who will tell us more about how you can apply for assistance under DBJ's Agribiz program. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow the Ministry of Finance on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn to see all the episodes and highlights. Welcome, Mr. Chin. So my first question to you today is, what is DBJ's Agribiz program and how is it expected to operate?
Thanks for having me on your program, Shaquille. So the DBJ's Agribiz program is a program which is developed to assist farmers as well as persons in the agribiz sector to recover, one, from COVID-19, and to assist them in building back better for the future. So,
Mr. Chin, times are hard, farmers are struggling, as we know. But how have DBJ's assistance program been providing grants, if any, or what's the process for doing the loan applications?
Okay, so the program itself is comprised of 4 components. One, there is a loan component. There is a technical assistance component, which is geared towards assisting farmers in doing business better. There is also a financial training component, and there is a education component which will provide scholarships for 2 students to attend the College of Agriculture, Science and Education, CASE.
All right, so you said there are technical assistance. What kind of technical assistance can we expect?
So under the program, persons in agriculture, and we're talking not just farmers now, we're talking persons like agro-processors or distributors of farming supplies, can apply for grants of up to $100,000, which can be used for business plans, financial statements, as well as product formulation, among other things. Okay, so you said that it gives 2 students scholarships to CASE. Is it that these scholarships are part of the grant program that DBJ has? These scholarships are part of the overall Agribiz program. So 4 components: loans, technical assistance, the scholarship program as well as the financial education component.
Okay, so how can people apply for these grants or loans?
So the loans are applied for through our financial institutions, such as microfinance institutions or approved financial institutions. These are your commercial banks and your credit unions. The grants are applicable or applied for directly through the DBJ or through our partners.
I saw on your social media platform where you have a partnership with RADA. Are you able to tell me about that?
So RADA, as you know, is the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, and RADA has responsibility for everything agriculture in Jamaica. Under the Agribiz program, DBJ will be partnering with RADA to provide increased technical assistance to persons selected under the program. So your farmers, persons in agro-processing, as well as persons in distribution can benefit from technical assistance from RADA.
All right, so just to follow up on that question, Mr. Chin, so my grandfather is a farmer. Does he have to be registered with RADA to be qualified for this assistance?
We ask that persons who are going to apply for assistance be, at the very minimum, be registered as a RADA farmer.
All right, so just tell us now before we go, where can we find more information about the Agribiz program?
More information can be found on DBJ's website, that's www.dbankjm.com, or our social media pages, that's Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chin, for joining us today and telling us about DBJ's Agribiz program. And thank you for joining us on this episode of Finance Matters. Remember to follow us on social media at MOF Jamaica and tune in next week as we continue to demystify the economic and fiscal policies and initiatives implemented by the government to empower Jamaicans as we chart a path to Jamaica's economic prosperity.
Apply to the Heart NSTA Trust. Learn a new skill and expand your horizons. Your government has made it completely free to you.
As a motorist, here are a few facts you should know about when and why a police officer can or should not seize your vehicle.
And I'll tell you first about the reasons when the police should not seize the vehicles, because they don't have the lawful authority to do so. If you don't have a driver's license in your possession, the police should not seize the vehicle. They can prosecute you under the Road Traffic Act. Now, there's a difference between not having a driver's license and not having your driver's license in your possession. If a person was never issued with a driver's license, that person clearly should not be driving a motor vehicle. What the police will do in those circumstances is that, for one, the person will be prosecuted. If they find out that the owner of the vehicle allowed the individual without a driver's license to use the vehicle, that person, the owner, can be prosecuted as well. Otherwise, the police will take possession of the motor vehicle because they will not allow a continuation of the offense. They will take possession of the motor vehicle and will get someone who has a driver's license or the owner to come and claim that vehicle. We don't seize a motor vehicle for no insurance coverage. The person will be prosecuted, but it is not a seizable offense. No registration of fitness is not a seizable offense. The police can lawfully seize your vehicle if the vehicle is not licensed. There is a provision in law that is referred to as the month of grace. So 1 month after your registration expires, if you're within that 1 month period, the police should not seize the vehicle. Your vehicle can be seized lawfully if you don't have a registration plate affixed. So you're driving around with no registration plate, it can be seized. Or if the registration plate is so obscure that you can't see what's on it, your vehicle can be seized under the Road Traffic Act. There are other acts that the police can lawfully seize your motor vehicle. For instance, if you are operating in contravention with the provisions of your license that was issued to you, your vehicle can be seized under the Road Traffic Act as well. Also, under the Dangerous Drug Act, Section 24 of that act allow the police to seize vehicle if the vehicle is suspected to be used in commission of those offenses. Also, on a broader sense, is that if the police have reason and evidence that your vehicle was involved in a criminal activity, then the vehicle can be seized and the owners can be held accountable even if they were not the ones that were driving the vehicle at the time. So those are the circumstances when your vehicle can be lawfully seized by the police. There are other provisions when you can have your vehicle towed. If you park in areas that are designated no parking, if you park your motor vehicles that are too close to fire hydrants, then your vehicles can be towed. And in instances where your vehicles are seized, the vehicle should not be returned to you until the provisions of the law is satisfied. So if your vehicle was seized for not being registered or licensed, it will not be returned to you until you go and get your vehicle licensed and you pay the appropriate and prescribed fines, then your vehicle will be released to you. So it's important for persons to know when your vehicle can be lawfully seized as opposed to when it cannot be lawfully seized.
Public passenger vehicle operators and commercial carriers. Renew your road license online. It's as easy as 1-2 click. Visit the Transport Authority website at www.ta.org.jm. Choose your license type and click Apply Now. Sign in or create an account with your email address and complete the application process, uploading all relevant documents. Make payment using a debit or credit card. Once your application is approved, the Transport Authority will email you to collect your sticker. Pick up your sticker in office or utilize our courier service. Once the sticker is collected, your digital road license will be emailed to you. For more information, call the Transport Authority toll-free at 888-991-5687.
This is where our journey ends, but only for today. Do join us again tomorrow when we'll bring another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via X at JIS News. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.